Harvester operator is a person who cuts trees, processes them into saw material for the mills to use.
A harvester is a person who works in the woods, cuts trees down, delimbs them, cuts them to length, and puts them in piles for the forwarder to come and pick them up.
A harvester operator works with heavy equipment, cuts down trees, and processes them into various lengths according to the mill specifications. Typical day as an operator, harvester forward operator, you'll arrive at work. If it's a double shifted machine, day and night shift, you'll meet with your cross shift typically and just kind of talk about how their shift went. You'll check your GPS, make sure you know where you're going to go to work. Do your general walk around of the machine, just checking for leaks, making sure the machine is ready to go. You might work a harvester for an hour or two, then you'll get out and you'll do a quality check. Checking, some lengths, diameters, making sure your products are on spec.
As a student, we would get here in the morning and we would go and grab our chains and bars and, hop in the machine. And there's usually a GPS that tells you where the last person left off. So you would check the GPS and then you would go and continue the line down the block and cut trees.
Typical day is showing up to the harvester in the morning, usually before the sun rises. You're doing your walk around on the machine, making sure it's safe to operate. Jump in, get the tunes going, walk into the block that you're cutting, and you are working intelligently. You normally have a computerized system in the machine that tells you where a lot of these hazards are and where you're supposed to cut wood. You tell the machine what the mill wants, and it'll make sure that it utilizes the trees to the full potential, and you're just kind of guiding that machine along to make sure it does a good job.
Training and education that I have, I took the forest machine operator training course in MBCC back in 1994. Operated full-time harvesters and forwarders for about 5 years till about 1999, early 2000. Then I went to work at a dealership where they sell harvesters and forwarders. I did that for about 3 years until we started a department at that dealership focused on only operator training, and that's when I started to really focus heavily on operator training from about 2003 to present.
I've been in the logging industry for the last 2 years now. I operated tractor and skidder, cable skidder before I came here. This is the only formal education that I've had at the mechanized forestry equipment course. It's nice to have formal training and actually be certified.
My journey is coming out of high school. I wanted a job that I could get paid on the service that I did or provided. When you work as a harvester operator, your pay is determined by the production that the harvester makes. A lot of other heavy equipment jobs, you're just hourly. A harvester, specifically, you're paid by the production you produce. So that's what drew me to it. When I got to a point that I felt really comfortable producing and running harvester, I decided I'd like to pass on that knowledge to other people. And that's what got me into instructing. To find a job in New Brunswick, forest industry, there's no trouble.
Basically, before you end the course, you have to be hired. So I have already been hired, and I got 3 weeks of training before I came here.
I had no problem getting a job in New Brunswick. Always had lots of opportunities to work in New Brunswick in forestry.
Why I chose this field is my love for heavy equipment. I love the woods. I love to hunt, fish, spend time in the woods. So, a passion for everything forestry related. Add heavy equipment into that, bingo.
I chose this field because my grandfather was actually a logger, and we spent a lot of time in the woods when I was a kid, and he was always teaching me what kinds of trees are what, and it's just, I really enjoy being outside.
So really what influenced me to get into the field was I was in high school. I was pre-commercial thinning for my cousin. That's kind of what got me started. I'm an outdoors type of person, hunting, fishing. My son actually talks now about learning to become an operator.
Someone that I think would be excellent at this kind of job, it's someone who maybe was even a little quiet in class growing up, a person who might even spend a lot of time on video games, because you're essentially running a big Xbox.
Good hand-eye coordination, have the ability to multifunction. People that had previously played sports sometimes, would have good hand-eye coordination, good dexterity. So that would be an asset for sure.
You need a pretty easygoing personality. Stuff happens, not everything goes to plan. You need to be resilient and have really good problem solving skills, because there isn't always somebody there to come and help you, and mechanical skills is definitely a bonus.
As a harvester operator, I mean, the most pride you get is when you look at the end of the day, you look at your production and you see, wow, like the experts say you should have cut 1,200 trees and you cut 1,300 trees. You can't wait to show that to the boss or show that to the experts that you did a little bit better job than they said that you should have done.
When you're a production-oriented person, you're seeing the output that you're providing. You're providing this important resource to the mills, which is really important to the province. We get a lot of pride out of that.
Logging is a really big industry in New Brunswick. There's quite a few job opportunities. I would encourage people to come to New Brunswick for logging because we have beautiful forests here and lakes and rivers, and there's lots of stuff to do if you like the outdoors.
I think it's about 80% of New Brunswick is covered in forest. It's a thriving industry here. It's ever-changing, it's growing, it's consistent. A lot of the forest companies that are here now are here for the long term, the future.
There's a lack of operators, a lack of skilled professionals in the forest industry in New Brunswick. And if you can get your foot in the door and get into a program, you're going to have a job for life. And not only just a job, a good paying job. There will always be work for harvester operators in New Brunswick.
So when you look to the future, New Brunswick is a great place for a sustainable industry like forestry. And I don't foresee it ever changing in my lifetime or my son's lifetime.